Hey, welcome to Drive Drivers. Welcome to Driver Academy. My name is John. I'm the lead instructor and founder of Driver Academy. It's really the heart behind why I do this. I've spent 24 years in the trucking industry, and I can tell you, I can point to so many great things in my life, my home, and my wife and my family as a direct result of a career in trucking. And I believe that everyone who wants a career in trucking, who has a desire to improve their life and improve their family's life, should have an opportunity to do that. So we provide free resources here for those looking to get their CDL permit. And then we believe that there's a whole host of other drivers out there who just want to be safe. They want to be great drivers, and they are great drivers, but they want to be safer and better, and they want to learn more. So we provide training resources for that as well. So what we're gonna do is we're in course 104 today. We're going to keep driving into success together. This is the CDL permit Airbrake course. As always, I encourage you to download the PDF that it's associated with this. It'll be a place that you can take notes as you're going through this with me. Also, make sure that you read your state CDL manual. This is not meant as a replacement for reading that. This is just meant to help you get ready for that test. So here we go. Airbrakes, 3 braking systems. The service brake system applies and releases the brakes when you use the brake pedal during normal driving. The parking brake system applies and releases the parking brakes when you use the parking brake controls, and the emergency brake system uses parts of the service and parking brake system to stop the vehicle in a brake system failure. The parts of the air braking system: the air compressor pumps air into the air storage tanks. The governor controls when the air compressor will pump air into the air storage tank. Air storage tanks are used to hold compressed air. Air tank drains, there's 2 types: manually operated by turning a quarter turn or kind of pulling the cable, or the automatic. And then the water and oil are automatically expelled in those. Alcohol evaporators. Some air brake systems have an alcohol evaporator to put alcohol into the air system. I think you see those less and less now. The safety valve. The safety valve protects the tank and the rest of the system from too much pressure. And the brake pedal. You put the brake pedal brakes on by pushing down the brake pedal. It's also called the foot valve, or when I came up in trucking, I learned it as the treadle valve. Foundation brakes are used at each wheel. The most common type of foundation brake is the S-cam drum brakes. The parts of the brakes are really discussed here. Brake drums, shoes, and linings. Brake drums are located on each end of a wheel axle. The wheels are bolted to the drums. The brake's mechanism is inside the drum. To stop the brake, shoes and lining are pushed against the inside of the drum. S-cam brakes. When you push the brake pedal, air is let into each brake chamber. Air pressure pushes the rod out, moving the slack adjuster, thus twisting the brake camshaft. This turns the S-cam. It is called that because it's really shaped like an S. Wedge brakes. In this type of brake, the brake chamber push rods pushes a wedge directly between the ends of the 2 brake shoes. This shoves them apart and against the inside of the brake drum. And then disc brakes. In ear-operated disc brakes, air pressure acts on the brake chamber and slack adjusters like the S-cam brakes, but instead of the S-cam, oftentimes there's a power screw used. The pressure of the brake chamber on the slack adjuster turns that power screw. Brakes. Supply pressure gauge. All vehicles with air brakes have pressure gauge connected to the air tanks. If the vehicle has a dual air brake system, there will be a gauge for each half of the system. Application pressure gauge. This gauge shows how much air pressure you're applying to the brakes. Not all trucks have that. Low air pressure warning. A low air pressure warning signal is required on vehicles with air brakes. A warning signal you can see must come on before the air pressure in the tank falls below 60 psi. The warning is usually a red light, and a buzzer may also come on. Stop light switch. Drivers behind you must be warned when you put on your brakes, and so when you actuate the treadle valve, actually the stop light switch is activated at that time. Spring brakes. All tractors and buses must be equipped with emergency brakes and parking brakes. They must be held on by mechanical force. Spring brakes are usually used to meet these standards. Tractors and straight truck spring brakes will come on fully when the air pressure drops to a range of 20 to 45 psi. I would know that. Parking brakes control in newer vehicles with air brakes. You put on the parking brakes using a diamond-shaped yellow push-pull control knob, and you see that there to the right. Modulating control valves in some vehicles. Control handle on the dashboard may be used to apply the spring brakes gradually. Dual parking control valves. When main air pressure is lost, the spring brakes come on. Some vehicles, such as buses, have a separate air tank which can be used to release the spring brakes. ABS. Truck tractors with air brakes built on or after March 1st, 1997, and other air brake vehicles, trucks, buses, trailers, and converter dollies built on or after March 1st, 1998, are required to be equipped with ABS. ABS does not necessarily shorten your stopping distance, but it does help you keep the vehicle under control when hard braking. I would know those years. Dual air brakes. Most heavy-duty vehicles use dual air brake systems for safety. A dual air brake system has two separate air braking systems, which use a single set of brake controls. Each system has its own air tank, hoses, lines, etc. One system typically operates the regular brakes on the rear axle or axles. The other system operates the regular brakes on the front axles. Both systems supply air to the trailer. The first system is called the primary system, and the other system is called the secondary system. I would know that. Checking the air compressor or drive belt. You want to check that drive belt if the compressor is belt driven. Though you see less and less of these. Check slack adjusters on S-cam brakes. Use your glove, pull hard on each slack adjuster that you can reach. If the slack adjuster moves more than about 1 inch, when your push rod attaches to it, it probably needs adjustment. Most brakes now are automatically adjusted, and most carriers don't want you adjusting brakes. Check brake drums or disc linings and hoses. Testing the low pressure warning signal. Shut the engine off when you have enough air pressure so that the low pressure warning signal is not on. Turn the electrical power on and step on and off the brake pedal to reduce air tank pressure. The low air pressure warning signal must come on before the air pressure drops to less than 60 psi in the air tank. I would know when the low air warning indicator comes on. Inspecting air brake systems. Checking spring brakes come on automatically. You continue to fan the air pressure by stepping on and off the brake pedal to reduce the tank pressure. The tractor protection valve and the parking brake valve should close on the tractor-trailer combination vehicle, and the parking brake valve should pop out on other combination, any single vehicle type, when the air pressure falls to the manufacturer specification, 20 to 45 psi. I would know when the spring brakes come on, and that's 20 to 45 psi. You're going to want to check rate of air pressure buildup. When the engine is operating RPMs, at normal operating RPMs, the pressure should build up from 85 to 100 psi within 45 seconds in a dual system. I would know that. I would know 45 seconds in a dual system. Testing air leakage rates with a fully charged air system. Turn off the engine, release the parking brakes, and time the air pressure drop. The loss rate should be less than 2 psi in 1 minute for a single vehicle and less than 3 psi in 1 minute for a combination vehicle. I would know that. Then apply 90 psi or more with the brake pedal. After the initial pressure drop, if the pressure falls to more than 3 psi in 1 minute for a single vehicle or more than 4 psi in a combination, the air loss rate is too much. I would know that also. Checking the air compressor governor cut-in and cut-out pressures. Pumping by the air compressor should start at 100 psi and stop at about 125. You should know that. Test parking brakes. Stop the vehicle, put the parking brake on, and gently pull against it in a low gear to test the parking brakes will hold. Testing service brakes. Wait for normal air pressure, release the parking brakes, move the vehicle forward slowly, and apply the brakes firmly using the brake pedal. Inspecting the air brake system. ABS helps you avoid wheel lockup. The computer senses impending lockup, reducing the brake pressure to a safe level, and you maintain control. Controlled braking. With this method, you apply the brakes as hard as you can without locking the wheels. Keep steering wheel movement very small while doing this. If you need to make large steering adjustments or if the wheels lock up, release the brakes. Stab braking, apply your brakes all the way. Release the brakes when the wheels lock up. As soon as the wheels start rolling, apply the brakes fully again. It can take up to 1 second for wheels to start rolling after you release the brakes. If you reapply the brakes before the wheels start rolling, the vehicle won't straighten out. Brake lag, air brakes, it takes a little time, 1.5 seconds or more for air to flow through the lines to the brakes. You'll notice that based on a lot of CDL manuals, you'll see that the total stopping distance in air brake section versus other sections, they actually add a section here. So they're saying total stopping distance, which this is correct, is your perception distance plus your reaction distance plus your brake lag distance plus the effective braking distance equals total stopping distance. I would know that. Brake fading or failure. Brakes are designed so brake shoes or pads rub against the brake drums or discs to slow the vehicle. Brakes create heat, but brakes are designed to take a lot of heat. However, brakes can fade or fail from excessive heat caused by using them too much or not relying on the engine braking effect. I would know to use engine braking effect. Proper braking technique. The use of brakes on long or steep downgrades is only supplemental to the braking effect of the engine. Apply the brakes just hard enough to feel a definite slowdown. When your speed has been reduced to approximately 5 below your safe speed, 5 miles an hour below your safe speed, release the brakes. This application, 3, 4, 5 seconds at most. When your speed increases to your safe speed, again, repeat steps 1 and 2. If you're in the proper gear going down this hill, this shouldn't be happening every 15 seconds. You shouldn't be cycling through this. It can happen on irregular intervals, but not like you shouldn't be just constantly doing this. You're going to overheat or exhaust your air. Low air pressure. If the low air pressure warning comes on, stop and safely park your vehicle as soon as possible. There might be an air leak in the system. There is obviously either not making air or there's an air leak. And then parking brakes. Pull the parking brake control knob out to apply the parking brakes. Push it in to release the control. It'll be a yellow diamond-shaped knob labeled parking brake. So this is the end of the Airbrakes. I want to encourage you to make sure that you've downloaded a PDF, that you have that PDF, that you've read through it. Make sure you've downloaded online your state CDL manual. Make sure you've read through that completely. Go on to the practice test. I always say if you're not getting at least a 90%, you don't have enough retention of information. You need to do it again and do it again until you have it. I just want to encourage you to keep pushing ahead. Let's keep driving into success together. Also want to encourage you, if you have any questions or you need anything, you can link to us on our social media page. God bless you. Have a great day.